associate principal here at Studio 2LR and also sit on the Preservation Design Awards Committee. When we were first talking about this award, we talked about the trades that went into putting buildings together back in historic times. And one of the terms that came up was calling this really a building art, because it's important to recognize the trade and also recognize the artistry that goes into creating these historic materials, some of that which we've lost over the years. Celebrating craftsmanship and artistry in historic buildings has become really important for us.
So the field of historic preservation is one that to some degree is kind of all-encompassing, but for the most part, people automatically think it's the preservation of tangible links to our built culture. And so the retention of historic sites, historic buildings, landscapes, neighborhoods, districts, and things of that nature. Typically trying to maintain those buildings and structures and sites in their historic form. But in some cases, historic preservation has to take a slightly different turn, and that can be simply the retention of historic building materials.
Conway Salvage puts this idea into action. With a mission to keep historic building materials in use, they reinvest the value of these pieces back into local communities, and they preserve the stories and craftsmanship materials carry. Through careful deconstruction, Conway Salvage recovers wood, brick, doors, windows, hardware, and architectural details that otherwise might be lost. And when a whole building can't be saved, that work still matters. By keeping materials out of landfills and returning them to new use, Conway Salvage shows that deconstruction can be preservation, is preservation. It keeps the artistry of historic buildings alive even as their pieces begin a new chapter somewhere else.
There's no additional manufacturing that has to happen. Taking it apart and putting it into a new use in a new location is the very next best thing.